Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Dirt Gear TV. The one thing I didn't connect into my MS3 system was the oil pressure switch. I've got just a single wire oil pressure switch, and then I'll probably just hook up a little LED light on it. When I took the buggy out for a test run, there's two reasons why it was torquey, but it was sluggish, and that's because the VVT is completely out of whack. In the case of this engine, the way the VVT solenoid works is it actually controls oil flow, and the oil is what changes the timing on that cam. So that's probably messing with the lower end torque and the low RPM torque. And then also I haven't tuned it. I put a base tune when it's idling with the, oh my gosh, there's like a freaking bat in here. You guys gotta see this. Look at this bug. Did you guys see it? Where'd he go? He went over in the corner. He was bigger than a hummingbird. He was the size of a small aircraft carrier. I hope that thing doesn't fly into me. So I've tuned it with a base tune with just the wheels up off the ground. So obviously I've got to get a tune into it. So enough yakking. Let's get into the project today. Let's get some stuff done. I'm ready for a real test drive. Basically I have a single wire oil pressure switch in the engine. The way I wired up, this is just a little red LED. I got this one from a marine store. When I switch the system on, I'll turn the key here. Okay, so in accessory position 1, you see the oil pressure switch comes on. That tells me that I've got no oil pressure. And then when I start the engine, that should turn off. This one was really, really bright, and I didn't want it to blind me if something ever went wrong because it's an LED. And I think I ended up using a 2000 ohm resistor in there to dim that bulb. So now it's daytime and it's very visible, but it's not going to blind me. Alright guys, so I hope I'm recording. I got you on the helmet mount so I can actually talk to you this time, unlike last outing. So this should be a little bit more productive. So today we are, as you can see, we're capturing some data. Okay, so this is kind of an overview of what I have in Tuner Studio, and I hope you guys can see this clearly. I'm not going to assume you can. Hopefully you guys can see what's going on. This is our RPM. We have our throttle position that changes depending on my input. We've got the pulse width. That is how much fuel we're sending to the engine. This is our temperature gauge. My fans kick on about 185 degrees. Anything over 140 degrees and my VVT is active. So the main thing for today is I'm going to try to get a baseline reading for our VVT and also our ignition advance. You can see our advance is down here. As I increase throttle, our advance will increase. I think I have it set to a maximum of about 30 degrees advanced. Fuel load, this is our map pressure sensor. And then we have our AFR here, so we can monitor how our acceleration enrichment is going. And really this last one, I don't really need a sync counter. I just haven't changed it. So the main thing is to kind of keep an eye on our air-fuel ratio today. It's been a while since I've been on this trail. Actually, this is a new set of trails I just discovered. I've only been out here one other time, so I don't know these trails like I do the normal set of trails. So far I'm watching my AFR and that looks really good to me. Well, that's what I need to have, is I need to see what my VVT angle is doing. Let me set that, or let me see if I can set that. I know I've seen it in here. There it is. That's what we want. We want to monitor our VVT angle. So as I accelerate, see that VVT angle kick in? That means our intake cam is advanced. The closing on the intake cam is being advanced. And basically, that should give us more torque when we're down low. Okay, so the two things I'm really keeping a close eye on is our ignition advance and our VVT angle. Now when the RPMs start to climb, we want those two to drop off. red, so I hit some kind of red line, but I have no idea. Oh, this is set to red line at 5,000 RPM. That's not what we want. We want to edit gauge attributes. High critical. I know we've got at least 6750 in this engine, but I don't want to go there yet, so we're going to go to 6500. There we go. So now our red line 6500. Okay. Now I believe that will only, I think that should flash when we hit that high critical. I hope it doesn't flash when I hit the yellow. Let's see what happens. Oh good. No flash. Ooh, we got a little pit here. It's looking good. Looking fresh. Let's see what's up this way. We've done a little tuning. We see that our dash is working. We are logging. Now it should be a lot healthier when we start to get up into that higher RPM range, since we pulled some of the fuel out of it. So before it was bogging, like almost as soon as I hit 6,000, I wasn't really watching it. Maybe a little bit before we hit 6,000, started to bog because of the fuel was just, it just had way too much fuel. We definitely have more torque now. It starts to pull immediately out of that hole, whereas before it would bog for a minute. And we're still going to tweak it, so let's go into third, really to stress out the low range. Yeah, I'm watching it on the VVT. When that VVT starts to kick in, that low end torque really starts happening. We have good advance, looks like. I think I'm seeing about 25 degrees of advance, down really low, 30 some odd degrees of VVT. Maybe a little too much VVT on that gearing. I think we have a bit much actually. Seems to do best at about 25-30 degrees of VVT. Looks like I've got almost 35 in that really low RPM register. Put her back into second. Alright, let's see what happens when she starts to hit that high RPM band. Hang on, guys. Well, I just ran out of real estate. Man, she steers good with this differential. Steering is so much more accurate. Alright, let's see what happens in the higher RPM range. I think we still got way too much fuel. She wants to rev, but it's just, I think we just got way too much fuel. My acceleration enrichment's probably a little bit extreme, so what I'm going to try to do is hit that high RPM range, but I'm going to try to do it without goosing it, so that acceleration enrichment doesn't have a chance to kick in. little tweak, guys, it's getting faster. It's getting to the point where you've got to have a pretty significant level of self-control. Previously, we didn't have enough power for my self-control, or lack thereof, to get me into too much trouble. We're definitely on the edge of what I feel like could put me in a situation very quickly. Still haven't tweaked the brakes. Feels healthy, boy. She's got a lot of torque. It's that upper RPM range we really gotta get working. I have no idea where this trail is even leading me. Backyard. See, we're in the south. Oh, we don't go into people's backyards that we don't know. They don't know us and we don't know them. The higher RPMs that really I want to log. Let's see what exactly the AFR is doing. Bottom line is I just may have way too much acceleration enrichment programmed in right now. So every time I bobble, like my foot will just kind of tweak that gas pedal and it'll send a slew of fuel into the engine. Basically, the acceleration enrichment, guys, if you're familiar with carburetors, it's just like an acceleration pump. That's basically all the acceleration enrichment does, is when you boost it beyond a certain percent per second, it'll send a burst of fuel immediately into the engine. Alright, let's see what she does. It's a shame that I'm losing so much power on the top end, because I know for a fact that this engine makes most of its power at about the 6,500 RPM range. That's where it's pushing almost 80 horsepower. So it really is a shame that it starts to break up at about 5,500. Because we've got a huge amount of torque, and just when the horsepower starts to take over from the torque, we lose power. It just falls flat. Man, this thing is going to be a blast when I get that top end sorted out. That's just a matter of me sorting out my fuel tables, guys, and that's going to take a little bit of time. Once we get that fuel table dialed in, though, woo-hoo, she's going to move. Buggies and stuff, guys, and this is a bold statement now. All of you keyboard warriors, look out, here it comes. A little bit of truth bomb for you. This is probably the most fun of any off-road vehicle I've ever driven to date. Oh yes. Even if you were to buy a brand new one, have it shipped over from China, pull the engine out of it, you know, give the engine to a buddy, put the engine on eBay or something, get a couple bucks for the stock Chinese engine, find a low mileage Mirage engine and stick that in it. You will not be disappointed, let me tell you, and you will still be far less into it financially than you would have been if you went with a Razor Maverick. Let's see if we can get up this little hill here with our differential. Yeah, no problem. Not even a wheel slip. I actually could never go up that before because I didn't have the turning radius to make it up that. I've never done that before. She's a climber. She can do technical stuff, guys. It's not just a low ground clearance, high-speed buggy, although it is pretty high speed now. I'll bet this buggy will easily clip 100 miles an hour. Whether or not I feel safe and confident to do that with my custom-built axles, I don't know. I just don't know if I'm confident enough to do 100 miles an hour in a buggy I built, but I'll do 80. And I bet she will do 80 like it is nothing. I'll probably hit 80 miles an hour in third gear. So glad you guys decided to join me today on this beautiful first outing. Guys, I could not be happier. This thing is so cool. I'm serious when I say I think it's going to be a thing that's going to catch on for people to put Mirage engines in dune buggies. Not only do we have twice the power and twice the torque, the gear ratios are the lowest in the car automobile industry, so the gear ratios are perfect, but the best part, I can feel that we are probably somewhere total between 100 to 150 pounds less weight, engine weight, in the rear of this buggy. I mean, I did my research. There's nothing better being made production-wise that's cheaper, as powerful, more available, and geared properly for these dune buggies. So if you have a small project, I would highly encourage you to look into putting the Mirage engine in your dune buggy. Forget the motorcycle engines, guys. They don't have any torque. They're fun, but you'll fry a clutch and you don't get a stick shift. So anyway, that's my rant. I'm out. Thanks for watching Dirt Gear TV, and I'll see you guys next time doing some more fun stuff with the buggy. Later.